Hello, and thank you for taking our object-oriented programming course in Python. I'm just going to go over some of the things we learned, just to review what you actually gained from this course. So we went over what object-oriented programming is. So that would be the relationships between our classes, our class objects, and their variables, or their attributes, and their methods, and how they interact with each other. We learned how to define a class. So like in our blackjack game, we created a player class to represent the players, their scores, their names, and also the player hands. We learned how to instantiate an object in Python and what an instance is. So an instance would be like creating the physical players in the main program, and then instantiating them by asking for their names, the players for their names, and then also initializing their points and their score to 0. We learned about class and instance attributes and instance methods. So we learned how to initialize class attributes in the constructor. So the very first function of a class, like if you have the class player, is you have define underscore init underscore, and then we had the parentheses self, and then we'd list all of the variables after that, and then we'd initialize the variables beneath the initialize function or the constructor. We also learned about inheritance. So that was mainly the car program, where we had like the sedan class, and we had the convertible class, and those were based on a parent class which was called car. They were able to inherit attributes and methods from that class, and then also extending the functionality of a parent class, which is basically the same thing as inheritance, where you have a parent-child relationship between a class and all the classes that inherit that class. And then just to go over the 3 projects we covered, we had the car class with 3 subclasses, which was the project that covered inheritance. We had the guess the rolling dice program, where we had players pick a number from 1 to 6, and then if it matched the number that the program picks, then they get a point, and then the winner at the end of the program was the one that the player that had the most points. And then we had our blackjack game, which was the biggest program, where we created a deck of cards using classes to represent the cards, and then we had the program deal cards to every player, including the dealer, and then players could hit until they tried to get as close to 21 points as they could without going over, and they would play against the dealer. And then if the dealer busted, or if the player had more points than the dealer, then they would be awarded a score. And then at the end of whatever number of rounds they played, the player with the highest score was the one that won blackjack. So I hope you learned a lot about object-oriented programming. If you want to check out our other courses, we have Intro to Machine Learning with Python and Intro to Data Science, Data Analytics, and Data Visualizations with Python. So you can check out those on codingbootcamps.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and other social media if you want to keep up with updates and other courses that we'll be offering. So thank you for taking our course, and have a nice day. Bye.